Welcome back to Open Line, everyone. We are talking movies tonight. Of course, the Academy Awards are Sunday night.
Sunday night, yes.
Jason Shawhan is here, Nashville scene film critic, talking about all these different movies. This year with the Academy Awards, there's no host.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
I mean, it's been done before, most infamously back in 1987 or 1989, the year that Rob Lowe performed with Snow White, as it is infamously known as, when Alan Carr was the producer. I mean, it's been done before. And honestly, I mean, like, it's a thankless job. Like,
yeah.
I feel bad for anybody, because it's like you might get a moment or two that people are just like, oh, that's great, but all it is a chance for people to complain at you and get blamed for the ratings. Yeah, it's a thankless job. I mean, I hope it pays well. I'm sure there's like gift baskets and stuff.
Be. You would think it's a pretty prestigious job.
Yeah, or you'd get invited to the best parties or something.
So I wasn't aware this had happened before. You're saying back in the 80s there was no... Yeah. How does it even work? I mean, I always thought the best part was the opening monologue where they kind of talk about all the movies, and what's even going to happen now?
That's a very good question, but I mean, it should streamline the process. This year's Oscars, there's been a lot of drama going back and forth. I mean, first with the whole will he or won't he with Kevin Hart, and then Ellen getting involved with that as to like him being a host, but then also up until recently they were going to take 4 awards and not even broadcast them and do them during commercial breaks, and there was an an uproar from the, from Hollywood's filmmakers themselves, just saying like, you're missing the point. And it does seem like the people who are who are producing the Oscar show, who are making the decision about this, they don't seem to really like the Oscars. Like, the thing about the Oscars is, yeah, it's never going to be the Super Bowl, but it's the highest rated non-sporting event, like, on a yearly basis.
That's what
it
I thought.
always
It's huge ratings. I mean, we even talk about it on Open Line. I mean, that's how big it is.
Well, yeah, and people who are going to watch the Oscars, they love, like long production numbers and like, the memorial to all the people who've died and stuff. It's like the idea of like, oh, we're going to hold it to a fast 3 hours. That's not appealing to people who actually want to watch the Oscars. It's like they're trying to change the program to appeal to hypothetical viewers. But it's like anytime you start doing that, you risk alienating the people who are actually devoted to what you're doing.
And did they change that?
Yes, they did.
So they will still get
They are still gonna the Shorts Awards and the like editing and cinematography. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they would go for editing and cinematography, I was just like, oh, there's going to be drama about this. Because I mean, it's like
they said they were going to do it, and now they backed off that.
Yeah, okay, they're going to do that, which is good. I mean, it's if you're going to be about rewarding artistic achievement, then they should be shown.
And then a huge rumor going around that Whoopi Goldberg could be a surprise host. I mean, do you think we're going to have a surprise host? I don't know if that's a huge rumor.
I don't know. If it is, they've done a phenomenal job of keeping it secret. I mean, it's like I mean, it would be, same with like if Wendy Williams popped up and did it, because like she's been missing for a while. It's like, like there's all these possibilities, and I would love that. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that like, people love a dramatic surprise, and if you're gonna try and make the Oscars into something with more populist appeal, well then I'm fine with having a dramatic surprise. I mean, that's something like anytime, like last year at the Super Bowl when they like teased that new Cloverfield movie, and then all of a sudden as soon as the game was over, Netflix was like, and you can watch it right now. I mean, that was amazing. I would love to see more stuff like that, where it's just like, surprise, here it is. You knew it was coming, but you didn't know when, and here it is.
Let's take a couple calls here.
Alrighty.
Evan, hello, Evan.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, I'd like to talk about Han Solo, the Young Adventurers. It was nice seeing how he met Chewbacca. It was nice seeing how he won the Soul Millennium Falcon. If they skipped ahead in the storyline and just showed him as a smuggler for Jabba the Hutt, a more established Star Wars character, it would have been a stronger storyline. And given the movie success of Woody Harrelson, from a TV star in Cheers to movies like The Cowboy Way or the one about the magicians, unless he accepted a less than usual price for his part in the movie, that's money that's good and spent for better effects. but then I haven't really liked the Star Wars film anyway since Revenge of the Sith when Disney took it over.
Well, there's been a lot of controversy about that. A lot of like.
So we're talking. Let's clarify here. We're talking about the movie Solo.
Yeah.
And that's a Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
Part of the Star Wars
it's
thing.
one of the spin-off films that they had, and there's been a lot of controversy since like Disney bought Lucasfilm and has sort of like taken over the shaping that. Like Solo was most controversial because they fired Lord and Miller, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, or Christopher Lord and Phil Miller. I'm getting their names wrong, but it's Lord and Miller. They fired them off of that because of the tone it was taking and replaced them with Ron Howard, who like reshot like 70% of the film.
Oh wow!
And it was still enjoyable. I mean, it had a lobster gambler. Like it had a human-sized lobster who played cards and gambled. And I was just like, you're gonna win my heart with a creative monster like that.
So Solo, it's the backstory of
Han Solo.
Han Solo. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's totally worth checking out.
Okay,
it's a lot of fun.
all right.
But I wish I could have seen Lord and Miller's version of it, especially after the two films that they were responsible for. They co-wrote and produced Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is up for an Oscar for animated film, and which is incredible. And then also the Lego Movie Part 2, which they wrote after they had directed the first one. And I mean, both of these films are incredibly creative.
I've seen both those.
Taking existing intellectual properties and like exploring them in a way that is not, it's not like a toy commercial. It's like they're really getting at the issues of like how we relate to nostalgia and these things that people have grown up with. Like they're incredible, and I wonder if like Disney is just like, we missed the ball with that. But I mean, it's just like they own so much, and now they own Fox, and it's just interesting because it's almost like this is an example that I'll use a lot, but it's almost like the board at Disney found like a magical lamp, and they were just like, "Hey, genie," and the genie's like, "What do you want?" And they're just like, we want to like be putting out films about all these things that are beloved, and they're just like, "Okay," but the secret Twilight Zone twist is that they're not finding the exact way to like make people respond to it. It's like they've got the access, they've got the ability to make it, but they're not. But the heart, what's the line from Metropolis? Like without the hands, there can be no mediator between the mind and the heart, or is it without the heart, there can be no mediator between the hands and the mind? Anyway, it's like they've got the ability, they've got the money to do it, but they don't have that middleman to like make it cross over to everyone.
So are you saying the Star Wars thus far under Disney is not performed as well?
No, I mean they've done really well. Solo didn't do as well as they'd expected, but I mean they're behemoths. They're Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I mean they've done fine, but it's just there's a lot of people who get really angry about things on the internet. I'm sure as a media professional you're familiar with that.
That happens.
And they're just it's like become an industry of just like hating on like what Star Wars you think works and what didn't. And it's just sort of like it's very weird. It's an interesting example of how like a beloved medium collection of things has aged as like the target demographic from when it first came out has grown up, and how their kids respond to it, and everything just gets more and more complicated, which I mean that's the story of the internet. Everything just gets more and more complicated.
Always happy to hear from Lucy. I believe Lucy's on. Is she on 1 or 2? 1. Hello, Lucy. Are you there? Hello, Lucy. Are you there?
Oh.
I actually think you're on 2, Lucy. Hello, Lucy. Are you there?
I'm here.
Great. Go right ahead.
Well, hey.
Hello.
I'm going to give you my 3, but first is the fella sitting there. He was talking about the movie Roma, how it kind of tells a true story of religion. I love black and white films, and one of my favorite films, old black and white films, is Colonel Effingham's Raid, and it's about politics. If you have not seen that, I think it came out in 42 or 45. You really need to see it. You don't need a civics class after you see this movie. But I'm going to give you my top 3.
Okay.
and why. Real quickly, White Boy Rick, I liked it because of the location, whoever chose the location for the movie, and the photography, because it kind of reminded me of Nashville in particular, like East Nashville, after all the shoe factories pulled out and they dumped that neighborhood, and it was gritty like that. And I liked it because of the two young actors. You know, everybody likes Matthew McConaughey.
It's true.
But the two young actors, they were fantastic and real in that movie. So that's my favorite drama. My favorite comedy, because I read the book, and is Black Klansman. And I still have a pulled muscle from watching that movie. I laughed so hard. I liked. I could see Spike Lee's kind of artsy, fartsy kind of thing in there, but it was funny to me. And I just saw this today. This is my favorite documentary. It's Fahrenheit 11/9, and I didn't know that Kellyanne Conway, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump, and Steve Bannon were, you know, friends of Michael Moore's. And this is I think a great documentary, and you know, it seems like if you would get older, you would kind of be losing your touch, and I really think that he did a good job on this. And my favorite part is when the governor of Michigan did the practice terrorist attack on Flint, Michigan. That's what, when I heard about the police radios last week, I thought of that, and he has that in here if nobody has seen that. So what do you think?
All right, Lucy, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about all that?
Yeah, no, that's, I definitely want to check out that 40s film she was talking about. White Boy Rick, I mean, you can't go wrong with Matthew McConaughey. The film he had out a couple weeks ago, Serenity, absolutely nuts. Like, if you're looking for something just crazy, like you can't wait till The Room shows again, go see Serenity. I think it's still showing in like a couple theaters. It is bonkers in the best possible way. It is deeply profound and incredibly stupid at the same time, and that's a really, really hard balance to pull off. But no, you can't go wrong with that. And then Black Klansman, I mean, that's rightfully up for.
Is that a comedy?
It is. It covers. It's like Spike Lee is so good at covering so many different emotional ranges of experience. Like that, Do the Right Thing played recently at the Belcourt, and it's such an amazing film because every kind of emotion is in it, and it's weird. It's like, you know, it's like Fellini's stuff from the 50s and 60s. It's like there's like the idea of like putting every emotion in your film, so somebody's going to get something out of it.
I think it's pretty powerful. Yeah. But I guess it could be a comedy.
I mean, there's stuff in it that's very funny. Like Adam Driver in it, I think it's a great comedic performance on his part. And then, but at the same time, that last, like when he pulls out the signature Spike Lee dolly shot with the main guy and the woman playing Patrice, where they just glide down the hallway into the present day, into Charlottesville, is just like that. That is gutsy. I would love to see that get some awards love. And then the Michael Moore film, it's really interesting. It's sort of like getting divorced a few years back has sort of made him a little bit more humble. And this one is good. And the one before that, the Where to Invade Next, I think is the best film he's ever made. I mean, it's really like it is a man who is chastened, who sort of learned from a lot of the criticism he's gotten from the public, but who also is like looking around at other ways of making things work in the world.
Fascinating. Lucy, thank you. Thank you for calling in and telling us that. We're going to take a break. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to go through some of these movies. We will play the full trailer for Black Klansman. And then we'll just kind of go over the favorite Black Panther stars and some of those. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.